Hi everyone, welcome to this chat with Deb. As you can see, I'm on vacation at the beautiful beach where there's wonderful palm trees swaying behind me. Well, not really. I'm not really on vacation. What I'm doing today is a little bit of green screening, and that's what this chat with Deb today is all about. First of all, let's talk about the equipment you need for green screening. It's really not as expensive as you might think. We purchased a green screen kit for our school. This was inspired by Naomi Harm, who purchased one first to use at a conference. I'm on Amazon.com, and as you can see right here, this is the kit we purchased. It comes with everything you need to set up this green screen background. This entire kit costs $119.99. Let me also show you quickly a picture of how I set up my green screen at our school. You can see here I have the two lighted umbrellas, the green screen kit with the green screen. Right before the Christmas break, we let the kids come in and have their pictures taken on different holiday scenes. Some were with Santa, some were decorating a tree, and it was really fun, and I'll share a few of those really cute pictures with you. The only other equipment really needed here is an iPad. I also happen to have an iPad stand, which was helpful when we were taking a lot of pictures, but it's not necessary. And you'll also need to download an app, which I will show you next. Before I show you the app, I want to show you real quickly how I made background images for the people to stand in front of. You might want to think about how you would apply this to your classroom. So you could have the students go on a virtual field trip, showing themselves in different locations and giving facts and information about these famous places. You could also put a famous person next to you and have somewhat of a conversation or an interview with that famous person. There are many uses for a green screen. Just be creative and think of all the different ways you could transform yourself into a whole new location. Now, to make those background images, I first started on Google Images and I did a search. For example, I'm going to do the example of having a famous person to interview. I'm going to search for Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm going to show you a trick that I use to make a person not have a background behind them. So many times when you get a picture of a person, like for example this one, it will have this square background, and really all I want is to have this outline of the person without a background behind them. So I don't want all of this. I want my own background with just Martin Luther King Jr. himself. So what I would do is go up here to Search Tools and go to Color. And under Color, I'm going to hit Transparent. And now when I'm looking at these different people, it has this checkered background. That means that Martin Luther King Jr. is now just a silhouette and there's no background behind him. So I would simply take this picture and save it to my computer to use in my background image. The other thing I can do is turn this feature off, and I could search for a setting. For example, maybe I want Martin Luther King Jr.'s home. And then if I find a picture that I like, I could take this picture and save it to my computer. Next, I'm going to use another site to put all of my pieces together. Pretty much you could use almost any photo editing site to create your backgrounds, but I love using Canva. It is so simple for me to layer and put things together. So I've made an account on Canva. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose card. It just tends to be the right dimensions for what I need. I'm going to go to the uploads button and upload those images that I wanted. So I'm going to first put the background of his home, and then I'm going to bring Martin Luther King Jr. in. He's rather large, so we'll just shrink him down and place him over here maybe on the chair. And now I'll be able to talk to him in my green screen. And from here, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to make sure it's saved, and then I'm going to hit the download button and download this as an image to my computer. All right, so now let's talk about the actual app that I'm using for green screening today. This is from Doink, D-O-I-N-K, and it's called Green Screen. And I'm just going to open up that app and show you how it works. So the first thing I'll do is, if you look over here, there's different tracks. I'm going to hit the plus here on the second track. I have 3 sources to choose from, and I'm going to go ahead and get the image that I saved of Martin Luther King Jr. in his living room. Now, I just saved it to a Dropbox, so it would be easy for me to find here on my iPad. So let me show you real quickly how I did that. I'm in my Dropbox app. If I close this out, you can just see here's my Dropbox app. I'm going over here to where all my folders are. I happen to save this one to my Dropbox, and I put it under Green Screen Backdrops. So I'm scrolling here and I'm looking for the one that's Martin Luther King Jr.'s living room. There it is, the one I saved a minute ago. And now all I need to do is simply save this image, and you can see it's exporting, and now it's been saved to my photos. So to keep organized, I like to take my photos and put my images into a folder called Dropbox. So here is my, I'm going to select it, my Martin Luther King Jr., and all I want to do is add it to my Dropbox. That way when I'm in my app Doink, it'll be easy for me to find. So now here I am in Doink. Again, I'm opening that second track. I'm going to image. I'm looking at my Dropbox. That is a folder within my photos. And now my background is showing. Now that we have a background image in our second track, we'll open up our first track and go to camera. And so now you can see whatever comes behind the iPad, such as my hand, will show up in the screen. I'm going to adjust right over here in this where it says sensitivity just a tiny bit, because as you can see I have some green. And look who's decided to join us. It's my dog Wrigley. And so Wrigley right now, if you look here, is on the green screen, and I can adjust this a little bit. He's laying right in the fireplace of Martin Luther King Jr. Not quite how I anticipated this to go, but unfortunately I think we've interrupted Wrigley in his nap time on the bed. I can also put myself in the picture. As you can see here, we now have Wrigley sitting on the mantle, and I'm in here, and I could talk to Martin Luther King Jr. I could have a classmate or friend of mine be Martin Luther King Jr.'s voice, and we could record a video, or we could simply snap a picture. I think my favorite thing here is Wrigley just kind of floating on the green screen in Martin Luther King Jr.'s living room. Pretty awesome. Well, I thought I'd wrap up this green screen episode with my dog Wrigley, and we don't have a cat, but could you imagine if this cat right here were real? How the two of them would get along, and look at how he's just sitting so nicely right in the paws of that kitty cat. Well, anyway, I hope that this episode of Chat with Deb helps you to understand green screening and how it works, and perhaps you'll find a use for it in your classroom. Until next time, I hope you're all healthy and happy. I hope you all had a great holiday, and I hope your cats and dogs get along as well as mine do. Bye, everyone.